Hi everybody, welcome to Brailsford Family Homestead. I'm Darcy. Today we're going to use a steam juicer and we are going to make some grape juice concentrate. I have these beautiful Concord grapes, not from my own grapes. Hopefully mine will produce next year, but we're going to make some grape juice concentrate. Now I've already started this process because I got 1.5 bushels. So I got a steam juicer this year for my birthday and I love it. Previously I had borrowed a friend's every time I wanted to juice things. So now I have my own. And if you're able to get one, I would highly recommend it. If you like grape jelly, like some of my kids do, and that's the only one they want, if you don't have a juicer or you don't buy bottled juice to make it, it is a rather long process of boiling it down and then you have to let it chill so that you can get the sediment and things out. You do not have to do that with a steam juicer. You have beautiful concentrate right away, and you can even just take it from the steam juicer, it's already hot, and can it right away too, which is what we will do. And then later I will make some jelly with that concentrate. I wanted you to see how beautiful these are. We picked these up yesterday. They called me yesterday to tell me they were ready. They are just gorgeous. So these have just been sitting on the counter. I started processing them last night, and so we're going to finish today, but these are just beautiful. Before we get started, I will show you my steam juicer and the different parts and how it functions. So it is really easy. This is a stainless steel one. I wouldn't go with anything else. And this is, I believe they call it 11 quart, and I have not seen any bigger than that. So this would be the biggest one. And you can find them on sale sometimes for around $60. Sometimes they're more, but just shop around. I think I was a Prime deal or something. I got it for my birthday. So it has the bottom part where you will fill it with water. And you'll fill it almost full. You won't go past that little lip there. And this here is for the spout that I'll show you next. Here the spout has this tube, and this end piece you can take off. You can use it to support it, but it also will clamp the hose closed, but it doesn't always keep it fully closed. I'll tell you about that in a minute. So this is where the juice will build up. And I put a stool in front of my stove, and this goes down into my container. This is what your fruit will go into. And you will fill that all the way to the top, and then the lid. So it takes a little time before the juice starts coming out. The books that I have read, because I have used other people's steamers, usually give you a time that I don't find accurate. It usually takes a little while. From start to finish, I would give yourself like 2 hours to do a whole batch. It could take less. It will help if you put hot water in there and you start heating that up before you're ready to put your fruit in. So like while we wash the grapes, we'll get that going. That does help to speed up the process, obviously, because you have to heat up and then boil all of that water. So even though I have done this multiple times over the years, I made a huge mistake earlier today, and I was not making a video of it at the time. So because it does take some time before the juice starts coming out, I didn't put this inside of a container. I had it up on the side, and I didn't have this clamping it down, though it does not prevent all of the juice from coming out. My husband was also coming in the kitchen to do some breakfast stuff, so I didn't want the stool to be in his way. So then I sat down, started having my coffee, and then he asked me, how long does it take before the juice starts coming out? I came in the kitchen and there was grape juice everywhere, all over the stove, splattered on the floor, a big mess. And so since we're being real, hey, I am not perfect here. I make mistakes, but I hope you don't. I did something else today for the first time ever, and I'm saving it to show you. I don't know if you can tell, it's a buckled lid. And that is not a fault of the lid. That is totally my fault. Usually buckled lids happen when you over tighten your lid, which may or may not have been the case. That doesn't seem to be on there tight. Or your headspace is too little. Canning this juice is 1/4 inch headspace, which is a very minimal headspace, and I probably overfilled it. The juice can get kind of foamy, so if I filled it more thinking the foam was taking up extra space, I probably left not enough headspace. So don't follow me in that. And I'm just being real with you guys, being honest, that I make mistakes sometimes too. But out of all the years I've been canning, I have never had a buckled lid before. That was just really crazy. And the funny thing is it's sealed. I'm gonna have to use a can opener to get it off. I'm not gonna trust that to put this on the pantry shelf. Anyway, let's get to washing our grapes. Let me show you one that did seal. This is from last night, so I already have my label on it, grape juice concentrate, because this is concentrate. I mean, you could drink it like this, but it's pretty potent. And I also did not sweeten this because I'm going to be making a jelly with this. You can sweeten your juice as you go, and you could put the sugar in here with the fruit so that it's all good to go. But anyway, look how dark that is. Isn't that pretty? This is how I will be set up for when the juice starts. I've filled the bottom reservoir with water, and I did put just a little bit of vinegar in there too. If you have hard water, you may want to do that just to prevent the hard water build up on the bottom of your juicer. If you're wondering how much grapes you need to do this, this is a 1/2 bushel box, and I found that it takes about 3/4 of the box to fill up the steamer. I will rinse the grapes, leave the stems on, you don't need to remove them, and fill this all the way up to make sure I can still put the lid on. And then that will get me about 1 gallon to 1 gallon and a quart of grape juice concentrate. This is ready to go. Look how beautiful those are. So you can see how full I have this. And the lid fits. So I already have, as I think I made a video already of the tube down in a jar. And so it will take some time because the water has to boil the steam and then it cooks down. It will start coming out pretty soon as it starts filling that reservoir, since the spout is down at the bottom. So don't be like me earlier. Just go ahead and start out with it in your container. So one of the things I found easy for canning it right away is using a wide mouth. You could use a regular mouth too. It's just my pour spout is wide mouth. I decanted it into this, so I could just put the pour spout on and pour this directly into the jars that I was canning it in. Since it comes out so hot, it is hot enough to put it straight into the canner. So I have hot jars, which I'll show you. And so I have my steam canner here. I'll have it all ready by the time this starts pulling out the juice. Now, I won't do all of the juice at one time because I'll do maybe 2 or 3 quarts. It just depends how fast it's flowing, because it does have to be hot. Now, if you don't want to can it right away, you can just let it cool and refrigerate it, then heat it up later and can it. Just don't put it directly in the fridge because it's super, super hot. So for me, it didn't take any more time to just can it immediately than letting it sit to cool off and then putting it in the fridge. And then of course, if I was gonna can it, you have to heat it up and all of that. So it's just trying to work smarter, not harder. If you are planning to make jelly or something else, you do not need to can this. You could just use it right away or put it in the fridge to use it within the next couple of days. I'm just choosing to can mine right now because I'm out of sugar. I can't make my jelly today, so I don't know how that happened. I do usually have that in bulk, but we'll get some of that and I will make jelly soon. Here you can see it starting to fill my jar. That juice is flowing out pretty fast, so I think I'll be able to empty this half gallon and then probably get another quart from that before I start my canner. So I'm using my steam canner. I've got hot water in it already, keeping my jars hot. I'm not gonna fill that many jars, but I got them out for this whole process. So we'll just use a hot jar and we'll fill it to a 1/4 inch headspace. You could certainly use a ladle and a pot. You could use a kettle. This is just one way to do this all at one time without dirtying another dish. I did find that if I let it pour onto something and then go in, it was a little less foam. We're gonna wipe our rim like with everything else. I'm using a 4 jars lid. This is gonna be really hot. And then that goes in the canner. I used a different spoon. Actually, I used my headspace ruler before and there was even less foam. I guess I should be using that. Look at that. Awesome. And I've got, can you see there? I definitely can swap these out and do another quart or so. This is still going and I expect to get at least another quart, maybe more. But I have 3 quarts in my canner. I'm gonna go ahead and can them because it does not take very long. I'm using my steam canner. I love the ease of it, and it is quicker and a lot less hot, wet air in the kitchen as well, but you can use a hot bath canner. There are a few different guidelines for canning juice, and all of them seem to be different. If you are using a steam juicer, you could just go directly to the juice part, not straining it and all of that. Some say 5 minutes for a quart, some say 15 minutes for a quart. I am going by the National Center for Home Food Preservation, but I am doing 10 minutes because I have not sterilized my jars. If I did that part, then I could do the 5 minutes, though I may still just do 10. It seems like 5 minutes isn't very much for a whole quart. And you can some juices in half-gallon jars, but it will not fit in a steam canner, and it's just not really something for my use to have it in a half-gallon, but it's the only thing I know of that you can safely can in a half-gallon jar. This is still really hot, but I'm going to pour it into the jar that is still collecting juice so that it stays hot and we can can this when the other ones are done. This isn't quite done, but I wanted you to see how far it has cooked down. I don't think I showed you guys what it was like when it was all done. So this has cooked down. I'll give you another look inside. So this isn't going to produce any more, but there is still some juice inside. So let me tip you down a little bit. So just very carefully, I like to tip mine forward, and hopefully you can see that all the rest of the juice is pouring down into my container. There may be a little bit more as it cools off, but you do not press on it or anything, because that could just give some stuff that's not really desirable to be in your juice. So I'll let that cool off completely, and then I'll just discard it. Actually, I put it in my compost, but however you want to discard it. And then we're going to have lots of grape juice concentrate on the pantry shelf, and soon grape jelly. The time's up. And I've just taken this one out of the canner. I will set them all aside for 12 to 24 hours, and then I will check the seal, wash them off, and label them just like I did from these that I did yesterday. You can see it's upside down, my label. I just use a Dymo label printer that I've had for years. But this, you want to take you don't store it with the rings on. Just grab that lid and pull, make sure that the button's pulled down. You put it in the pantry. So it looks like, I think I'm going to have 2 quarts, maybe just shy of 2 quarts. So we'll see. I'll can at least one of them. The other, maybe I'll put it in the fridge, because I do need to make that jelly. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching this and that you will give it a try. I also do this with cranberries, which I believe I have a video. I'll stick it up here if I do. I love cranberry juice, and this is just so easy. So if you are able to get a steam juicer or borrow one from somebody, do it. You can do all kinds of fruits and things. I appreciate you guys being here, for watching, for liking, subscribing, and for all of the kind comments. I really, really appreciate you. Until next time, God bless.